really defined goals across, leads, type of projects, meetings. Defining those is really important, and just remember what this person can influence too. Hey guys, and welcome back to Builder Funnel TV. In today's video, we are going to break down how to hire a marketer as a construction business. So in a past video, we covered how to hire a marketing agency. And so if you want to go that route, there's some good steps there. We'll link that video below. But in this video, we want to cover, hey, if you actually want to have a marketer on staff, what should that process look like? What kind of skills and qualities and those types of things do you really need to be looking for to make this a successful move for your business? So let's start at the top. And the first thing is you got to have a really detailed job description. So you have to have a clear picture of what you want out of this person. I think a lot of times we get into this trap of just moving quickly, and moving quickly I generally think is good, but sometimes we move a little too quickly and just go, hey, I think it's time, we need to hire a marketer, like let's post something and just write a few things and get that person in, and then they'll just do a bunch of marketing stuff. So let's take a step back and make sure we write a really detailed job description, and throughout the next few steps, I'm going to outline, some qualities and skills that I think should go into that job description. So let's start with skills, because today's marketer they need to operate across a variety of skill sets. And we're mostly talking about digital first, and then they're going to need to have some other things if they're working on coordinating, signage or door hangers, or maybe even some like radius mailers, or maybe some outdoor advertising, that type of thing. But most everything is going to be digital today, and then supplemented with those other elements. So the first and most important skill is that you're actually looking for a strong writer. Now, the reason I say that is because almost everything in marketing today, especially online, is writing. So you think about your website and your website content, a lot of writing. Blogging, definitely a lot of writing. Email marketing, writing. Social media, they're writing. Yes, there's graphics that go along with that, but you're writing descriptions and the text. And when you really think about a lot of things that become compelling, you're thinking about writing, but you also want to have an element of copywriting, which is more of what makes that copy compelling, what makes somebody, convert, what is a strong call to action, what's a catchy headline for that blog or that social media post. So you really want somebody that is a strong communicator through the written language. And obviously if you can get a strong writer, a lot of times they can communicate effectively through other mediums, but that is at the top of the list. Next up is you would love to have somebody that also has some graphic design skills. Now this doesn't mean they need to be off the charts, like expert in Photoshop and all of the advanced tools. That would be a huge plus, but maybe they have some experience using a tool like Canva, which is very common today, where you can use templates and a lot of drag and drop skills, but they've got maybe that design eye, so they can pull those pieces together that are going to be good. PDFs or reports or social media graphics or graphics that you might need on your website. So strong writer, and then some graphic design skills. And then the last thing I would say is you're really looking for somebody that is what I would call a hybrid marketer. So they have at least a good amount or a decent amount of experience, across a wide spectrum of skills. Versus somebody that's like a true expert and has deep expertise in maybe one or two areas. So they should be a strong writer, good with graphic design. They should have some technology skills. And so they're going to need to operate across, blogging, social media, email marketing. They're going to use software. So that could be something like, website software, landing page software, email software. Depending on the tool set that you have for your company, they're going to be operating across a lot of different things. And then obviously a last piece would be analytics. So they don't necessarily need to be a huge numbers person, but they can't be anti-numbers, because we need to be able to track and report on all of the things that they're doing. So we'd rather have somebody that has wide experience versus just deep in one area. Next piece is that we need to establish a budget. So you are going to hire this person on staff, but then they're going to need a budget to work within. So they're going to need things like software. They might need some advertising budget on Facebook and Google, And then if you do any events or you do any of those things I mentioned earlier in the video, like signage, you wrap your vehicles, maybe you put together brochures or some sales material that are going to go out with people in the field, like all of those things, depending on if they're in the sales budget or the marketing budget, or if that's a combined budget, they're going to need an external budget that they can utilize. So don't forget about that when you go to make this hire. Yes, you're going to have the salary piece and any benefits and soft costs, but you're also going to have a budget that they're going to need to use to spend on other things. And then the next piece here, step number 4, would be, what are the goals of the position? So let's not forget that, hey, it sounds great, we're going to bring in a marketer and we're trying to grow, so we need more marketing. That's kind of where you should start, and then let's break that down and get a little more granular. So are you trying to get to X number of leads, or is it a certain number of meetings? And you're saying, hey, I need to hire this marketer and I just want them to produce 20 meetings a month or 10 meetings a month or whatever it is. Is there a certain type of projects? Maybe you do kitchens, baths, additions, and you just want to focus on additions. Like maybe you're bringing that person in, you're saying, hey, I need to do 6 more additions this year. That's the target. Having really defined goals across, leads, type of projects, meetings, defining those is really important. And just remember what this person can influence too. So they can't necessarily close the deal, but they should be able to set qualified meetings. So people that are, the right demographic, the right area, the right project type. And then if they set those meetings and that person doesn't close, like, hey, that can't all be pushed back on the marketer. So just having some clear lines and some clear definitions around what is the target that we're shooting for, and then set your expectations in terms of timeline appropriately too. So depending on how lofty the goals are, you may need to allow that person to get in, to learn the brand, to start building content, start making progress. This is definitely not going to be an overnight thing. So just keep that in mind as you set those targets, and have kind of some benchmarks that maybe you're looking for along the way, so that you can tell, hey, are we on the right path, or did I totally make a mishire here? So you want to have some of those things in mind beforehand, see if they're realistic, and then use those as a benchmark as you move along. Now we're at the point where we can actually start to hire. So we're going to definitely use the saying, hire slow, fire fast. So we want to make sure we're not rushing into something. We want to interview lots of candidates. We want to ask them lots of questions around these different types of skills that I've put out earlier in this video. So maybe you have them do a couple of homework assignments, and definitely have them send you some past work and past examples. So you want to see writing samples across a variety of different things. So maybe some blogs or just articles they've written. Maybe they've done some social before, so you want to see several social media posts. If they've done any email marketing, have them send you a couple newsletters that they've done in the past for other companies. But you want to see that writing across a wide spectrum, because again, they're going to be operating across lots of different mediums in terms of that communication style. And then if you can, ask about performance with past roles, like were they able to increase leads somewhere else, or do they have background industry knowledge? And you probably aren't going to be able to get somebody that's this unicorn that has industry knowledge, past success in that industry, and they're really good at everything. So you're going to be looking for somebody that checks a lot of the big boxes, and then hopefully they can grow into some of those other boxes. I really like the idea of giving them a homework assignment, because that gives you, when people send their past work and examples, they kind of get to pick the best of the best. But if you give them a timeline, say, hey, write me a blog post on this topic, and hey, I'll give you 4 days to do it, and then send that in. Then you get to see, hey, how do they go and research that? How did they think about it? Give them some targets there, and then you can read it. And that can often, eliminate some people pretty quickly for you. So once you've gone through that hiring process, you've written the job description, laid out the goals, you've got a budget, and you know what you're looking for in terms of the skill set, then ultimately, now it's time to hire that person, move forward, and just track along with their progress, and make sure you have those benchmarks in mind to see if they are on the right track. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. Hopefully this helps if you are thinking about hiring somebody on staff. And as always, we'll see you next time here on Builder Funnel TV.